Hello everyone and welcome back to Brickmail. Today we're building the brand new 2026 Lego Oscar Piastri Formula 1 helmet. While we put this helmet together, we're going to look back at his entire journey at F1. So, let's go! Oscar is known for something that's pretty rare in motorsport. No matter what's happening around him, he almost never seems to panic. He always stays calm under the pressure, whether he's leading a race, battling another driver, or dealing with pressure from his own team. He always looks completely calm. Oscar Piastri was born on April 6, 2001 in Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne is where the Australian Grand Prix is hosted. He grew up around F1. In 2011, at 10 years old, young Oscar climbed into a racing kart for the very first time. Over the next few years, he began competing all around Australia. He didn't just win races, he started winning championships immediately. In 2013, he won the Karting Stars Rookie Championship. Then in 2014, he added several more titles. By the age of just 13 years old, Oscar had already collected 5 karting championships. Over the next couple of seasons, he continued building an incredible resume, eventually racing double digits in karting titles across Australia. Now he had to make the big decision of his motorsport career: stay in Aussie or move to Europe. If you want to make it to Formula 1, it is almost required to move to Europe because this is where almost everything happens. Nearly every major junior championship is based there. Nearly every Formula 1 team is scouting talent there, and almost every future Formula 1 driver eventually has to make the move. For Oscar, this move had to come at an incredibly young and early age. At just 14 years old, he had to move to England, and spending almost every weekend traveling across Europe to race was a huge commitment for anyone, especially someone at his age. Oscar attended boarding school while balancing racing weekends. It wasn't exactly, say, a normal teenage life. His dad, Chris Piastri, played a massive role during these years. Not only did he help fund Oscar's early career, but he also helped work on his car as the mechanic during his karting events. Earlier in his career, after proving himself in karting, Oscar made the jump into single-seater racing. This is where he joined Formula 4, where he competed in the United Arab Emirates Championship before moving into more competitive British Formula Championship with Arden Motorsport. Arden was co-founded by Christian Horner, who is mostly and most recognizably known as the former team principal of Red Bull Racing. Formula 4 is where many future Formula 1 stars begin learning the basics of car racing. The cars are much faster than cars, much stronger competition, they have more downforce, more draft, and there's less bumping. During the 2017 British Formula 4 season, he won 6 races, claimed 6 pole positions, finished podium 15 times, and ended the championship second overall. Oscar believes that his Formula 4 was the most important season of his career. It taught him how to learn from mistakes and that they were okay to make the mistakes. Instead of letting a bad weekend affect him, he'd go away, study the data, understand what happened, and come back stronger. In 2018, Oscar stepped up again, this time in the Formula Renault Euro Cup. The jump was harder for him, however, Oscar still managed several podium finishes, but he ended the championship 8th overall. Now, for most drivers, finishing 8th might not seem like much, but instead of getting discouraged by this, he switched teams the following season and joined Race GP, who were one of the strongest teams on the grid. The improvement was almost immediate. Throughout 2019, Oscar was one of the fastest drivers nearly every weekend. He won 7 races, scored 11 podiums, claimed 5 pole positions, and after an incredibly close championship battle, he became the 2019 Formula Renault Euro Cup champion. This was the first major championship of his career. Winning one race is difficult. Winning an entire championship requires consistency across the entire season. Oscar had shown he could do both. So after winning the Formula Renault Euro Cup in 2019, Oscar Piastri had officially made his name in junior motorsport. But things were about to get even more impressive. He moved up to Formula 3 and he dominated. In 2020, Oscar joined the FIA Formula 3 Championship with Prema Racing, one of the most successful junior teams in the world. Formula 3 is where the competition really starts to feel serious. He didn't need to win every race, he just had to be at the front of the grid every single race weekend. And that is exactly what he did. Oscar picked up multiple wins during the 2020 season, including victories at places like Monza and Mugello, and he kept stacking up podiums while his rivals made more mistakes under pressure. His biggest championship rival that year was Logan Sargent, but when the pressure really mattered, Oscar just didn't crack. By the end of the season, he had done enough. Oscar Piastri became the 2020 FIA Formula 3 champion in his rookie season. In fact, it immediately put him into a very exclusive category of drivers who win Formula 3 at the very first attempt. Oscar jumped straight into Formula 2 for 2021. Now this is where things usually get difficult. For Formula 2 is widely considered the final step before Formula 1. The cars are faster, the races are longer, and the pressure is enormous. Oscar did it in one go. He joined Prema once again, this time alongside another top prospect, Robert Schwartzman. And from very first race weekend, it was clear something special was happening. Early in the season, he started collecting podiums and then wins. Followed quickly after that, he had this ability to manage races perfectly. One of the most impressive things about his 2021 campaign was how he handled bad weekends. Because even when things didn't go perfectly, he always limited the damage. No panics, no big mistakes, just steady points and smart driving. As the season went on, a pattern started forming. Whenever Oscar won a race, he usually followed up with another strong result the next weekend. He just had crazy momentum, which is exactly what you need to win championships. And by the middle of the season, it became clear the title fight was really between Oscar Piastri, Zhao Guanyu, and Robert Schwartzman. But Oscar just kept calm, had clean racing, and incredibly efficient. He won 6 races, 11 podiums, and by the time the final races arrived, the championship was essentially already in his hands, and he did not let it slip. Oscar became the 2021 FIA Formula 2 champion in his rookie season. That made it a 3 championships in 3 consecutive years. Formula Renault Euro Cup Championship, Formula 3 champion, and then Formula 2 champion. It's one of the most dominant junior career progressions. At that point, most people expected the next step to be simple, Formula 1, but it was not so simple for Oscar. Because even after all that success, Oscar still didn't have a confirmed F1 race seat for 2022. Instead, he signed on a reserve driver for Alpine, and this is where things got hard for the poor Aussie. Alpine had their own junior program and had heavily invested in Oscar for years. He was seen as the natural future replacement within the team. During the 2022, Fernando Alonso announced he would be leaving Alpine, which opened up a race seat. Almost immediately, Alpine announced Oscar Piastri as their driver for 2023 on their Twitter, but there was only one problem. They never actually signed him. They just posted about it because they were so sure they were signing him, and Oscar responded. Oscar publicly stated he would not be racing for Alpine. Behind the scenes, the McLaren had already secured a deal with him. What followed was a legal battle handled by the FIA Contract Recognition Board, and in the end, the ruling confirmed Oscar Piastri would race for McLaren, not Alpine. Teams weren't just interested in him, they were fighting for him, and ultimately McLaren won that fight. So after all the shenanigans, Oscar Piastri finally arrived in Formula 1 in 2023, driving for McLaren alongside Lando Norris. And straight away it was clear, this wasn't going to be a typical rookie season, but it also wasn't going to be an easy one. McLaren started the 2023 season off the pace. That meant Oscar early races were mostly about learning the car, learning the team, figuring out where he could stand in it. But what stood out wasn't his mistakes, it was how quickly he adapted to it. Race by race, he started closing the gap in Norris and then came through the turning point of the season. Midway through 2023, McLaren bought a major upgrade package at Silverstone, and suddenly everything changed. The car was transformed overnight into a podium contending machine, and Oscar immediately took advantage. At Silverstone, he qualified P3 behind his teammate and just fractions off the very front of the grid. From that moment on, Oscar's confidence completely shifted. In Japan, he scored his first Formula 1 podium, finishing P3 very calm. But the highlight of his rookie year came in Qatar. In the sprint race, Oscar Piastri took his first Formula 1 victory. By the end of his rookie season, Oscar had established himself as one of the most impressive newcomers on the grid. But 2024 is where things really started to level up. McLaren entered the 2024 as a genuine front-running team, and Oscar suddenly had a car capable of fighting for podiums and wins on a regular basis, and he took full advantage. Right from the start of the season, he looked more confident, more aggressive when needed, but still calm in the way he controlled races. One of the biggest moments of his season came in Hungary. After a tense race in a controversial team situation, Oscar took his first official Formula One Grand Prix victory. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. He had gone from rookie to a race winner. Later in the season, he added another Grand Prix victory in Azerbaijan, showing he could win in completely different conditions. He also picked up a sprint win in Brazil, adding even more proof that he could handle pressure when it mattered. Across the 2024 season, Oscar became a key part of McLaren. Alongside Norris, he helped push the team into series championship condition. In the constructors battle, something McLaren hadn't consistently done in years. By the end of 2024, he helped McLaren win the constructors championship. He also picked up a sprint win in Brazil, adding even more proof that he could handle pressure when it mattered. Across the 2024 season, Oscar became a key part of McLaren. Alongside Norris, he helped push the team into series championship contention. In the constructors battle, something McLaren hadn't consistently done in years. By the end of 2024, he helped McLaren win the constructors championship, something they hadn't achieved since 1998. By 2025, Oscar Piastri was a championship contender. McLaren had taken another step forward, and this time they didn't just have a competitive car, they had one of the fastest cars on the grid, capable of fighting Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes at every type of circuit. And right from the opening rounds, Oscar looked completely different compared to previous seasons. More aggressive when he needed to be, but still that same calm, controlled driver who rarely made mistakes. Because for the first time in his Formula 1 career, he wasn't fighting for podiums, he was fighting for wins every weekend. The 2025 season quickly turned into a McLaren internal battle. It was Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris, teammates but also title rivals. It became a season defined by tiny margins, tenths of second strategy calls, tire choices, and execution under pressure. Oscar started the season strongly, picking up multiple wins early on and even leading the Drivers' Championship for a significant portion of the year. At one stage, he looked like the driver to beat. Clean qualifying, strong starts, controlled race pace, no unnecessary risk, just execution. But as the season developed, the pressure began to build. McLaren introduced papaya rules to ensure both cars finished the race and not crash into each other. But even with that in place, the tension was always there. Every pit stop, every strategy call, every wheel-to-wheel moment, it all mattered more than usual. As the season moved into its final stretch, momentum began to shift. And at races such as Azerbaijan, he started to make mistakes. Azerbaijan and Monaco, he crashed out. Norris started to close this gap. Race by race, the points difference got smaller, and Oscar's once comfortable lead began to shrink under pressure. It wasn't because he suddenly became slow, it was because every tiny mistake now mattered, and the pressure started to get to him. And by the final third of the season, the championship had completely flipped. Heading into the final race weekend in Abu Dhabi, the title fight was still alive, but in the end, Norris did enough to secure the championship title. Oscar crossed the line knowing he had come incredibly close but fallen just short. In the end, Oscar finished the championship in third, losing out by only 13 points, but his career is still young and has much more to go. Now, let's talk about the Lego helmet. Right now, the Oscar Piastri helmet retails for $8.99. The helmet was made to celebrate McLaren's 1000th Grand Prix in Monaco this year. And on the left side of the helmet, it includes McLaren's papaya orange, while on the right side, it's Oscar's notable blue color scheme. The building instructions for the Oscar and Lando's helmet are almost exactly the same. Once again, the amount of stickers is around 3 to 6, but you can also opt out of using them if you want a cleaner visor look. This set also includes an Oscar Piastri minifigure where he is wearing a black sandals, red shorts, and a cute kangaroo shirt. Some differences between the Oscar set is the visor. Oscar's helmet has an orange visor compared to Lando's black visor. The printed pieces on the set are also really well done and match Oscar's actual helmet design closely. The helmet was also co-designed by Oscar Piastri and McLaren F1 together, with Lego making it feel more accurate to the real thing. Anyways, thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video, and please like and subscribe. And next video we will be building the Lego Otter.